They definitely are telling me this is how it's done, this is how you have hits, and this is what people want. So yeah, back when I started, there was a lot of miming and there wasn't much live music, and it was really just looking like a model and having half your clothes off. So it was a big battle as a kid to keep my clothes on and to be singing live. But I mean, the industry's changed now because of the pirating of music and stuff. They're wanting more entertainers, and you've got a little bit more pull. Well, I do now, being older. I know that I won't pull off being half naked, and I don't do what I used to do as a kid, try and satisfy, even though it wasn't me.
And it's interesting because when you were watching that, I mean, you've had that beautiful baby face at that stage, and you've really matured into a beautiful grown-up. I mean, is that hard for an audience to follow you as well?
I think so. I know as myself as watching an artist or a band, I tend to love them from when they start and not be able to continue the journey. And I still look at some of these acts that I've grown up with thinking that they're still 15 to 18 and they've all grown up like me. Same as my fans. Sometimes I see my fans because I've been away for the last 5 years and I forget that they've grown up as well. So it's sort of interesting, yeah.
Why do you mentioned earlier you did the new album, which is yet to come out. It's coming out
in May, the 24th.
Why did you go to the States to do it? You're a songwriter. How difficult is it to go and meet a complete stranger and get in a room and just suddenly write songs? And why do you have to go to the States to do that?
So difficult. Well, there's great songwriters here. And there are some songs that I've written with writers that are here. But the fact is that because I was doing it for like 5 years here...
You walk into the room and what do you do?
G'day, I'm Vanessa.
What do you, how do you start?
It's so strange. I've got a great story which hopefully answers that question. I was writing with a woman called Pam Reswick, and she's this tiny little skinny Nana-looking woman. And
a professional songwriter?
Yeah, a big...
Hello, we're Greg and Danny. I think this interview is important, so we will speak on it in a few minutes after Miss Amorosi has some talk.
Songwriter, and she ended up...
What age?
I would say, well, she looks really young, but I think she's around 65, around there. And my first impressions of her was, you know, just cups of tea and everything's going to be nice and pretty.
Keep yourself
and we get to the studio, we're both holding guitars and we're going through... I had a couple of little riffs that I was playing to her, and she comes up, she goes, you know, I've got this idea. Now, this woman doesn't swear or anything, so I already feel like I'm a little bit rough on the edges. She puts her foot up on the amp.
Careful with the swear word, we'll ask.
She puts her foot up on the amp, comes right over and starts going, random anonymous sex. And I'm like, okay, all right. Well, I was thinking, you know, do I bring out the Christian book or something, you know, where I read stuff that's scary for this. But yeah, she just went straight out and laid it like that. And then after that, she's just one of my favourite songwriters now. She has no limitations.
So I think that's amazing.
I really fell off the chair. I swear, I was so horrified. I was like,
so where do you go from there? So she's got
random anonymous sex.
I was just fits of laughter. After I just went quiet for like 10 seconds, she's like, oh, you don't like it? Like, she must have went, oh, I must have scared her. She's into God or something like that. You know, this could be too bad. After we got through that little bit, it was great. We could get straight into writing, and there were no limits. And I came out with some great songs. Like, we were writing about 3 or 4 songs a day.
And then how do you
play and write at the same time?
Yeah, sometimes we'll get like the riff first, or maybe the lyric or the melody, and just putting it all together, really.
So if someone comes at you with the chorus, random anonymous sex, do you think, right, well, I got to write a sex song now?
Well, actually, it was quite the opposite.
I'm not going to put down this gentleman here that is interviewing her, but he totally missed that analogy, I think, of what the woman was trying to portray. But we'll talk about it afterwards.
You know, she came out, she had this thing where she went, you know, I just want to talk about this. And so my take on that, that's the great thing about co-writing with people, is you have a total different take on a lyric that they might have a whole thing to. And my vibe on that whole random anonymous sex was how lost you would be if that's how you thought love was meant to be, with different people every time. And she came up from an angle of how exciting it is and fresh and interesting, and that's what I want. So that's a great thing with writing with different people, because you get 2 different takes, which then people are left open to take it their own way. You know, you never want to be specific on exactly what you're talking about because that's the beauty of music.
Look, obviously someone like her who's a professional writer is used to that collaboration, but, I mean, what if you...
I think it still scared her. I don't think anybody gets over it, And then even when I did other writing sessions with writers that have been writing with Pink and all of that, they still get quite nervous when meeting another person, whether, especially being a female and then being male, some of them, whether they come out with things like that.
Because I'm wondering what happened.
So, this is what I have a trouble conversating with the Australian people, you people in Oz, we are honorary Aussies. I love you very much, but it seems to be that there is I don't want to call it a misconception, even though I feel it is, a certain model in which like the Aussie people all speak for each other and no one has a problem with that. I love that about the culture. I think you put yourself in a box, though, by doing that. By saying, our music is the best, the world hasn't heard it. Why? Well, it could be turned around and say, well, you haven't listened to the world either. Which some of you have. You know, some of you are very knowledgeable about music in general. And I do think Australia has something about it that creates wonderful music, like Muscle Shoals did. Just one little place or one island where you go where everybody can just feel comfortable and vulnerable in a space with camaraderie and friendship and love. I think that makes the most beautiful music. That's why I just started pushing record. We were just watching this. Ray was shitting, so he didn't even know this was happening. And my computer's dying, so I'm going to let Greg talk for a second while I get the damn cord.
Understand where Danny's coming from. You don't want to be sort of isolationist when you think about something. You also don't want to pigeonhole yourselves into a collective. That, you know, everybody feels exactly this way about all of these things. Because I think music, art in particular, or art and music in particular, is sort of a celebration of it is encouraging unity while celebrating individuality, which is, it's all, you know, both of those things are amazing. Vanessa's journey is a fascinating one. I like the idea that she's not afraid to brave the cultural shift from being in Australia to coming to LA. I live in America, and I'm not sure I would head to LA. Not gonna lie there, but you know, she's just trying to expand her horizons as a songwriter and as an artist, and she should be commended for that.
Okay, back to the interview. I guess what
Happens if you get in there and really just don't get each other.
Well,
Nice. Let's just call it quits.
No, I've had a couple of writing sessions where it just wasn't working and it wasn't exciting and it was hard work.
Yeah.
So.
Look, as you said, the album comes out in May. The single is out now, and the single is called Perfect, and it's a terrific song. This is a really great single. It's great to have you back and hopefully on the radio.
And you're going to sing it for us later on.
Yep.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thanks so much. Good to see you.
Thank you.
So that is one song. That is a song that we haven't done. It's perfect.
Perfect? I thought we did. I'm almost positive we did. Let me check while you're. So I remember the thumbnail.
Okay, so yeah, we have done perfect. He's right. As sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. That's what makes it beautiful.
That's why we're a team.
His view on the U.S. might have been completely different than my view. In fact, they were pretty different. And we both live here. And he only lives 600 miles from me, which in Australia, some of your neighbors are that far away. So, In other words, it wasn't that big of a jump for him to come here. Yet, he said this seemed like a different world to him from just Indiana to North Carolina. And we were in the same time zone. So you know, I went to Buffalo, New York, which I thought would be like the big Statue of Liberty in Empire State Building. Come to find out, it's 600 miles, about the same distance for me and Greg from New York. It's actually on the border of Canada in Niagara Falls. So it was nothing like what I thought. And the people there were very friendly, but the people in New York aren't that friendly. So, or that's just my perception. I may go there and it'd be different. So Vanessa does not get many views, and there are only a few of you who I don't want to pigeonhole anybody. I guess what I'm trying to say is I found Vanessa through all of your suggestions. She started popping up, and when I done her, then a bunch of you were like, "Yeah, she's great." And or at that time, a bunch of our subs did. I'm like, well, why in the world didn't anybody tell me about her? And then I watched another video where she talks about, in tears, how just going to LA for 6 years, it was supposed to be 2, has made her feel alienated from Oz. And all she wanted to do this whole 6 years was go back and be with her horses and be back with her culture and her people and her family. And she could have flew home 2 times a year or something, but it would have made it twice as hard financially, and the sleep and rest she needed. You know, she done a collaboration that I'm thankful for with Hoobastank, and you know, I got to dedicate that to my daughter. And she also went and done a festival in Germany, was it?
Yeah.
Everyone there was lip singing, and backstage they were all told to lip sing. And Vanessa, being Vanessa, went out there and sang. She lip synced shit, but she said she would never do that again. In context with, she would never do the show like that again. But if she did, she would listen to what they say, because she got a lot of hell from her fellow musicians who didn't want to lip sync either, but understood that the industry is that way, and this was not in America. So, as an American, I think that New York and what Motown became after the old days and LA are the most brutal, vicious musical industries on the planet. So,
Very predatory.
we agree with that. We also understand that there are other places in the U.S. where you can make beautiful music still. The Warning just started their entire career. 3 albums were fan funded.
Funded. Yeah.
Yes. This last album, their 4th album, was the first album they contributed money, and they had a label. Tool started with a label, dropped their label, and went through years and years of lawsuits. And now they have Maynard has 3 bands, none of them have labels, and they make great music, and they just topped the world charts in 2019. Unadvertised, with no label. They knocked Taylor Swift. We love you, Taylor. I'm somewhat of a Swiftie now, but not the greatest and biggest ever pop star off the charts. I'm number 1. So, yeah, there's just so much music everywhere. The British people, which I never know where that is exactly, but they have so many great artists. Canada, man, Canada has so many good folk singers, and even a metal band I'm recently out of Canada. And Australia has bands that I don't think many Australians know about. Flor Jansen from Nightwish, the most reacted to band on YouTube, says herself that she loves the Australian band Carnival. Karnivool, which is an amazing band from Oz. She Hide with John Togood Too Good is a really good band from New Zealand. And North Lane being, I think, one's from New Zealand and three are from Perth, which is like the first way you can get without jumping in the ocean on each side. And yeah, so music is very subjective, yet objective, yet unified all at once. So it's confusing in a way. So yes, I agree. Australia produces as much or more great artists than anywhere on the planet. But there also is the rest of the planet. I think that is a great way to put it. So, 16 minutes. This was not meant to be disrespectful. I just heard Vanessa here talking about this, and this was like one of the first interviews back. And if you watch the beginning of the interview, there's a lot of prompting by those two, who I'm sure are very wonderful interviewers, prompting her to, why did you go to America, basically? Why didn't you stay here? You had number one, you were dominating Australia. Why'd you leave? I don't think that was a good question to ask. I think what were the benefits of your travels?
Agreed.
Would have been a much more objective question.
What did you learn? What did you miss? There's a lot of ways they could have approached it.
And I would bet my left foot. I will still that John Farnham has had these exact feelings that he's wrestled with in his own head about going to America to make music. Will I lose the respect of Oz? And while you may disagree, it's okay. There isn't a good guy, there isn't a bad guy. There's only you and me, and we just disagree sometimes. Dave Mason, One Hit Wonder.
Great song, though. What a hit, you know?
It is. So there's great music everywhere. A lot of influence from all artists, which I think, most of the top artists in Australia are not actually Australian born, but they are Australian raised. So I don't think it matters where you're born or where you grow up. It's where you live in your heart and what comes from your soul that creates great music like country, Australian rock, pub, and rock and roll. So R&B, rhythm and blues, and soul. So I think I'm gonna end on that. You got anything to say, OGL?
Just that I do agree. Right, you can love your home, but not want to remain confined to it. When your home becomes a prison because you're afraid of what people will think if you try to expand your boundaries, that's not good. I think someone that like Vanessa, who is willing to go someplace else to create more opportunity, to expand her craft as a songwriter, who will still miss Australia when she's gone. That to me is a testament to her loyalty, as opposed to just remaining rooted there forever and not ever seeing outside the shores. So I think her, John Farnham, they should both be given props. They expanding my boundaries there. But yeah, you can love your home, but still not want to remain there forever. And I think maybe she felt that she could be an ambassador for Australia to the Americas as well. Like, there's so much that can be done. Like we've talked about in the comments where people are like, I can't believe John Farnham isn't more of a worldwide name, and he's got the talent, but maybe you need more people like Vanessa coming over from Oz to America, spreading that word. Just even someone hearing of Vanessa in America is like, okay, it's cool, Australian singer. What else does Oz have? So there's so much benefit that can come from someone uprooting themselves and I guess scattering seeds musically elsewhere. But yeah, we love you, Oz. But yeah, there's an entire world of music out there, and you shouldn't confine yourself.
Nobody gives a shit.
Thank you, Anthony. Always appreciate that. You're the man.
All right, we'll end that on this.
People are like music. Some speak the truth, while others are just noise. Music is freedom, but that don't mean the musicians are free. They pay a price for telling the truth, and this is what I think about that. The truth don't give a fuck what your opinion is about the musician. So leave them boys alone and let them sing their damn song.
Actually came from country music. Hank Williams Jr., Don Williams, Ernest Tubb. Why don't you leave the boys alone and let them sing their song? Hank seemed the same amount of hatred, kind of, or just anger from the people when he quit singing his daddy's songs, which he sang them for 15 years, and that wasn't good enough. When he made one of his own songs, he got outcast. That's where family tradition comes from. Country music singers have always been a real close family. But lately, some of my kinfolk have disowned a few others than me. Guess it's because I kind of changed my direction. Lord, I guess I went and broke their family tradition. So that sums it up fucking beautifully. So we're going to redo, as we just done when the war is over, with Jimmy and John. For everybody new to our Aussie Army. Our tech was terrible then. There are a lot of reactions. The Anthony Warlow, I think, and John Farnham is one of the worst as far as lagging, and just it was such a cool interplay between him and John that
Great performance.
But there are robots in it. What's the color of our tech? StreamYard. We just made a tutorial. Use StreamYard. It's so easy. That's how I do all this shit all the time. I mean,
very intuitive, easy to get a handle on. Yeah. If we can figure it out.
Yeah, man. You scroll shit across the bottom. John has changed my life. John's character has made me a better person. John will be great. Like, John's will to be great has made me want to do the same. Yeah. So.
And there are ways to support the channel. We've got $2 memberships to the channel. We've got Patreon. Very affordable, very cool exclusive content there. Even something as simple as a $2 super chat when you send a request for a reaction, that means wonders. If you look at our early stuff and look at what we're doing now, we're obviously using that to try to better the channel. We want to keep doing that. So, but thank you all very much for your support. Talk to us in the comments. Let us know what you want to see, what you want to hear, and we will be on.
This channel was built on rock and roll.
No doubt.
And immortal are the ones who die a death by rock and roll. Everybody meet Selena. Where the hell did that come from?
I have no idea.
We do have a mental Discord, yeah.
No doubt. That we could use some loud voices in that Discord too.
Apparently, I had some footage from 2016.
You got footage. You got a lot of footage.
I got footage from everywhere.
Yeah.
Check out the new studio. I'm proud of it. In the woods. Sorry, guys. Just too cold. Two old blokes here. I hear that saying is not used anymore. Just old people. And most of our audience are old. So that would make sense, actually. Get that fucking thing over there. Where'd it come from? All right, we're going to go. Love you. Don't be mad at us. If you are mad at us, then you probably resemble these remarks. Resemble these remarks. You ever heard the saying like, I resent that remark?
Yes.
I had a little buddy in jail always said, I resemble that remark.
I've
That's a great thing. It's so
heard
good.
people use that too, yeah.
All right, much love, Oz.